thing I'm going to talk about today is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Wow, I went to see this film last night on the opening night, and let me tell you, there's a few people complaining about this film, saying it's not the Indiana Jones we remember. Don't listen to those people. This film, okay, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not as classic as Raiders of the Lost Ark, okay, but I would say it definitely equals Temple of Doom, and I'd say it definitely equals Last Crusade. And the great thing about it is they haven't just copied what they've done before, you know what I mean? There's little nods here and there to like the original films. You have like little nods to Marcus Brody and Henry Jones Sr. in there, and obviously nods to the Lost Ark, a very tiny nod, but a nod all the same, things like that. But it's pretty much its own film, you know. Here's what I liked about it. First of all, Harrison Ford. Man, that guy, he stepped right back into the role. 19 years. It's like he rode off into the sunset yesterday. It's crazy. He just does a really good job in this movie, you know. He has lots of good lines. His stunt work is brilliant, as usual. There's lots of good fight scenes in it. Lots of excellent, you know, the old classic Indiana Jones punching a few people around and all that kind of thing. It's just really good. Really good acting by Ford. Definitely his best film, I'd say, since The Fugitive. And when was that? That was like, what, 1993, 94? So yeah, I can't fault Harrison Ford, and I really hope that this is maybe, they're at least make maybe one more. You know, there's a possibility they could make one more, and I think they can get at least one more, if not two more, if they really hurry themselves up, out of Ford and out of the series. So that's the first best thing about it. The second thing, Shia LaBeouf. A lot of people, when he was first cast, oh my god, it's Shia LaBeouf, the guy from Transformers. Oh no, you know, they're kind of like complaining and stuff, but the guy was great. Do you know what I mean? It's like, one thing you can rely on in Indiana Jones films is in each film there's at least one guy or one girl that's a really good sidekick. I mean, in the first film you had Karen Allen as Marion, who matched Indy completely and utterly. Then in the second film you had Short Round, who was probably like the least annoying kid sidekick ever in the history of film. Willie Scott, some people don't like her. I didn't mind her, but I can see why some people had a problem with her. And then in the third film, obviously, you had Sean Connery as Henry Jones Sr. You know, there's a great little sort of trio of sidekicks there. And in this film, you got Shia LaBeouf, who, again, matches Indy for wit, and definitely, out of all the actors in the film, those two have the most chemistry on the screen. And the scenes with them together, you know, bouncing off one another, are good. They're a joy. They're quite fun, you know. And Shia's character is an interesting character. You know, when we first meet him, he's like a wannabe tough guy, you know. Later on in the film, he has this great sword fight with Cate Blanchett on top of a truck, two trucks at the same time. And although I have a little complaint about that, which I'll talk about later, all in all, he does great acting in it. I can't fault him. Okay, the third thing I liked was, I actually liked the effects in this one. A lot of people complaining too much CGI everywhere, you know, and to a certain extent I can see their point, but at the same time the originals were full of matte paintings and model work and all that kind of thing. So, you know, get with the times. If this had been all done using all the old techniques, things would not have looked half as good or half as spectacular. It's as simple as that. I mean, the effect set pieces, obviously the jungle chase was a big highlight for me. I liked the motorcycle chase near the beginning of the movie, and the very beginning of the movie in the warehouse. That was a great action set piece. As soon as Harrison Ford started leaping around using that whip, you knew that for me was a definitive moment that Indiana Jones was back. You know, that just brought back memories of when he's like flying around in the Temple of Doom with his whip and things like that. It was pure nostalgia. The fourth thing I liked about it was that it moved with the times, you know, the 50s setting. It tried to be a bit more, less of a tribute to 30s serials, more of a tribute to 50s B-movies things. I mean, you had the ants, which were like killing people and eating them. You had like the Soviet bad guys, one of which is Psychic, played by Kate Blanchett. You had like the whole atomic war subtext going on, especially with the opening scene where Indy escapes a nuclear blast. And of course you had the whole ending, which I'm not going to give away in case you haven't seen it, but very much 50s sci-fi B-movie tribute. And yeah, it was brilliant. The music by John Williams, a little bit of over-reliance on old cues, you know, from like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade. There wasn't any cues, as far as I was aware, used from Temple of Doom. A little disappointing. Temple of Doom doesn't seem to get much love from its creators, but I personally think it's one of the best in the series for numerous reasons. But there were some nice new cues in there as well, nice new music, especially during the jungle chase. Again, very similar sort of music to the truck chase in Raiders, very pumping, atmospheric, and the Crystal Skull has its own theme. Not quite decided yet whether it's quite as good as like the Ark's theme and the Sankara Stone's theme and the Holy Grail's theme, but you know, it could grow on me. So those are the things I really liked. Things I didn't like so much about it. Now I did have a couple of problems with the film. First of all, John Hurt, I thought he was kind of a little wasted in his role, you know. They cast this great actor. There was lots of rumours going around that he was going to be Abner Ravenwood before the film opened, and no one would confirm or deny what his character was right up until the film opened. And it turned out he was just some character we'd not heard of until now. I mean, he was okay, he provided comic relief at times and things like that, but I just think they could have done a bit more with that particular actor. And Ray Winston, again, he was at times entertaining, but again, kind of wasted in some respects. And his continual chopping and changing from being Indy's ally to a traitor, to an ally, to a traitor. It's kind of like, you just could kind of tell by the fourth time he'd swap sides or whatever that he wasn't Indy's ally. And I have to say, his scene at the end, his very last scene, I just thought that was probably one of the worst scenes in the movie for me. I just thought, why have they done this to his character? You know, why has he exited the film in this way? I didn't get that at all. It was really weird. That was one of my problems with it. And what other problems? I thought the ending, it was okay, but I don't think it was necessary that we had to see, how can I put this without spoiling the film, that we had to see what the Crystal Skull became, kind of thing, you know. I thought it would have been enough just to see the Crystal Skull be returned, and for the villains to meet some untimely end, but not necessarily to see all that we saw. I thought it could have been left a bit more to the imagination, maybe, but no, it was still good, you know. It was still pretty good, and the actual ending, the very end of the film, I thought that was a little cheesy, but I liked the very end shot of the hat sort of being blown into Shia LaBeouf's hands and then just about to put it on his head, which I was kind of thinking, yeah, that's going to actually happen, and then Harrison Ford just takes it off him and puts it on his own head as if to say, look kid, you might be good, but I'm going to be Indiana Jones for a while yet, which was a nice little ending, I thought. So all in all, I enjoyed the film. I've only seen it once, so I'll have to wait and see how it holds up on repeat viewings, but I think it's going to hold up pretty well. I would give this film at the moment it's not an all-time classic, but it's certainly as good as Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, so I'm going to have to give it at least an 8 out of 10 at the moment. Definitely not worth 10 out of 10, but 8 out of 10 for definite. So, if you get a chance, go see the movie. You'll have a great time. It will just blow you away. It's definitely the first major film of the summer for me, and I honestly hope they make another one within the next 3 years. So, yeah, go see it.